Hey YouTube, this is Bill. This video has been in the making for many months. I've been on a quest to try to get the best fidelity outdoors in a battery-operated PA, portable PA. And I've tried many different combinations. I've tried large towers with a external battery pack. But I found from comments and interest on YouTube, not many people really are interested in carrying an external battery source. It's just one more thing to carry, and if you forget it on a gig, you're in real trouble. So people either want a plug-in AC PA, which are the larger units, or they want strictly battery. So I've been on a quest to find the best battery rig I could find, and that's what I'm going to try to introduce today. If you've seen my recent videos, I recently purchased on your left the JBL MK2, and I've been testing it, I've been tweaking it, and it's been a very interesting journey. Like I said, I just got it just a couple of months ago. It sounds great. It sounds hi-fi. My only criticism is it has very nice low end, very nice, very smooth mids, hi-fi mids, like I mentioned. The top end is a little rolled off. That is my only criticism. And then the other criticism that is, as a battery-powered unit, it doesn't play anywhere near the 128 decibels that a plug-in PA can easily do. Battery PAs pretty much top out spec-wise 120, but I've never been able to get anything near 120 decibels on battery alone. So when you're in your high, 100, 105, 110, maybe the max, that's pretty loud for a battery-operated unit. So I've been testing a couple of speakers to try to improve on the MK2. It sounds great by itself. It just has a slightly rolled off top end, and that's what the speakers you see in front of you might solve. So I know some of you already have the famous Bose S1 Pro. Also, some of you might have the JBL Compact. I recently purchased on the stand here the Mackie Thump Go. All these are battery-operated speakers, portable. Very lightweight, nothing over 17 pounds. So it's your choice. Any one of these speakers, the Bose S1 Pro, the JBL Compact, or the Mackie, will improve the high end of the MK2. So I'm going to show you how I am hooking it up. Everything is going to be wireless. These are all battery-powered speakers. There'll be no external battery involved. But the reason why the Mackie is on the stand is of the three choices, Bose S1 Pro, JBL Compact, and Mackie Thump Go, I would choose the Mackie if you don't have any. Okay. I'm not using this system with a microphone, so I don't need reverb. I'm using this mainly as playback tunes, so I don't need the reverb. If you need reverb, then Mackie isn't for you. You need the Bose S1 Pro or the Compact. Again, these are things I've gone over in the recent videos. So the Bose S1 Pro is the smoothest of the three on the floor there, the Compact and the Mackie. So it's kind of too similar to the JBL MK2. I don't really need more hi-fi smoothness. I'm getting all I could wish for in the JBL MK2. So it's not really a huge difference, but if you have the S1 Pro, just adding that speaker on the pole to the right, maybe 10 or 15 feet apart, adds a lot of fullness, and it just makes a great addition to the MK2. The Compact is very similar to the Bose S1 Pro. It's again, it has better bass, low end, but again, with the MK2, I don't need any more bass. It has a nice EQ to it, so you can EQ some nice high end that could be heard over the Mark II. So that's definitely, it works. It's definitely a choice. But my number one choice that I'll be demonstrating today is the new Mackie Thump Go. That has the very, very clean high end at volume. I would have to say it's cleaner high end than the Bose S1 Pro. Bose S1 Pro is, like I said, more mids and low mids. So the Mackie S1 Pro really adds some clarity to the Mark II. It's kind of like a light switch. You flip it on, and all of a sudden you see all this frequencies that the Mark II is a little bit shy. I like the Mackie because it's just out of the box. It doesn't have any really EQ to it. It just sounds great as it is. If you go with the JBL, you have to play with the EQ to get it right. And the Bose S1 Pro, I had to add some treble to get it right. But the Mackie, like I said, is good to go right out of the box. A little history behind my journey, if you haven't seen the whole series of videos, I came up with an excellent battery-operated system for outdoors, and that was a pair of Bose S1 Pros paired wirelessly. But if anybody has tested Bose S1 Pros, they're great speakers, super compact and portable, but they don't have much low end, and you can't expect any low end too much with a 6.5-inch woofer. So that's their weakness, the low end. So to solve that problem, I purchased the Bose Sub 1, which is just an incredible unit, but it's AC powered. So I had to bring an external battery pack outside. It worked fine with two Bose S1 Pros, but again, that's not a complete battery system, which this is. So this is really wonderful. The Mackie Thump Go is 17.6 pounds, super light. It has one speaker stand, and if you look, there's no AC plugs on that wall behind you, and there's one cable, and that's it. That is all you need to bring for a excellent HIfi sounding all battery powered rig for outdoors or small parties, weddings, whatever. This gets pretty loud, just not as loud as your standard AC powered PA. Many people ask for the connections, the setup, so it can't be any simpler. I'm starting with the JBL Mark II, and I have my cable coming out from the pass-through. And it's important that you get a TRS cable that looks like this. It has two prongs on it, and that means it's TRS compared to your regular guitar cable, which is TS. You don't want to get that. This is a balanced out, so you want a balanced cable. The other side of the connection to the Mackie Thump Go, I'm going into channel 2. It's a combi jack, but I'm using a 1/4 to 1/4 cable. And I'm done. That is it. You might want to look at my settings on the Mackie Thump. I have it at 3 o'clock on channel 2, and I have the main also at 3 o'clock. And the reason I am boosting it like that is because I'm going to be showing you in a minute. I'm using the app on the Mackie to control the volume. So this would be all the headroom I would possibly need. This is the max. I'll use the app to lower the gain that I'm going to be using. This is the most important part of the video probably, and that is my gain structure or settings. I've been struggling with this. I've gotten a lot of support from JBL Tech. Thanks to them. I'm very impressed with their support. So my master on the Mark II is -5, and that's right here. That's important. That gives you a little headroom if you need to boost it. The pass-through, I'm not going to show you that right now, but that's from the app. You're going to put that on 0 dB maximum, and then you can control the Mackie from the Mackie app. So the pass-through is at 0, which is maximum. And also the pass-through is very nice because it has a mute function. So you can mute it at the Mackie app, or you can mute it at the JBL app. I'm going to be demonstrating muting it from the Mackie app though. It's a lot easier. Okay, then I go over here to channel 5, which is my auxiliary, because I like to play my outdoor system with Bluetooth, even though a lot of people give me comments how much better it is going through the mixer first or going through a subwoofer first, and I agree with them completely. But my whole goal here is to travel lightly, no mixer. So I'm using Bluetooth, even though I might be losing some quality and sound or headroom. So on channel 5, it is set at 0 dB. On my EQ, again on channel 5, I'm boosting the treble, a couple of notches, because like I mentioned, I feel the Mark II is a little treble shy. I'm boosting the mids a little bit, and I'm keeping the bass at 0 dB. It doesn't need any more bass boost. Here is the Mackie Thump Go's app, and it has some great pluses, a couple of negatives. Let's go over it. The first plus I want to mention that is superior to the much more expensive JBL app is it has these nice, very tactile mixer sliders, kind of like the same size as a real mixer, where when you go to the JBL, it's very tiny, it's very hard to precisely change volume settings. So I really like this. So JBL, maybe through a firmware update, they should take a look at this, how the sliders mimic a actual mixer. Very impressive. So I got 2 sliders to work with. I got channel 2 Bluetooth, and I got the main. So what I'm doing right now is I'm setting the main at the loudest I would want to integrate it with the Mark II. And then from there, I could adjust the volume with the channel 2 slider. I could back it off for certain tracks. Maybe that'll be too loud, or maybe certain tracks need maximum volume, so I'll boost that up. So this is what I'm talking about right here. Look how easily it slides, and it changes. You see the dBs. And of course, what I'm really impressed about is because not all apps have this, and that is your mute function. At the touch of a finger in 1 second, it can delete your second speaker, and then you click on it again, and all of a sudden that speaker comes back, and you can see the night and day difference. And I do mean night and day when you add that second speaker, if you have it gain stage correctly. So this is a big deal for me. Like I said, this has been a journey. And when I first started out playing outdoors, I used to bring a mixer with me, and I would plug that into a external battery source. Just a whole bunch of wires, a whole bunch of things to carry. So I'm really traveling lean right now. This does pretty much everything a mixer does. Of course, a mixer is much quicker, where you can just adjust the highs and the mids at the turn of a knob. Here you have to use what they call menu diving. You have to go through pages. So it's not quite as good as a mixer, but the mute definitely as good as any analog mixer. You can just click on it, it immediately goes off, click on it again, immediately comes on. So very, very happy about this. And that's it, pretty much. Let me show you some more things about the mixer. I think I said mixer. I meant to show you some more things about the app. Okay, this isn't something I'm too happy about, but again, the Mackie is a very inexpensive speaker. You can't expect to have all the bells and whistles of your typical 12-inch, $750 speaker. Okay, here is the EQ. It's 2 bands only, lows and highs. And to tell you the truth, I don't really hear much difference. I'm boosting the lows as much as possible because the Mackie is a very lean speaker. It's super clean on the top end, very clear, but it really needs some type of subwoofer. And in my case, I'm using the Mark II to get all those missing lows and mids. So I'm boosting it, but to be honest with you, it really doesn't do much. Another downside about the Mackie app is when you re-engage the app from turning it off, it takes a while to boot up. You have your spinning ball and you have to stand there But again, I guess you can't expect too much for $400. But all my other speakers, the JBL, the Bose especially, they just boot up instantly. Okay, in the top right corner, you have a speaker link function, and you can purchase a second Mackie, and I have tried it. It links very quickly, and it is a nice feature. I can show that to you in a future video. One of the downsides that I'm surprised about is with this Mackie app, I don't see any way to do any firmware updates. I've been looking through the app and I don't see anything to be able to do that. So if anybody has the Mackie Thump Go and sees a way to update the firmware, please let me know through the comments, because that it would be a downside if you can't update the speaker in the future. Here's something that's interesting. It has a front LED off and on, and it works from a distance. So again, I kind of like the LED on, but some people don't. So that's something you can push on and off. Feedback eliminator, I haven't tried that with a microphone. Can't tell you about that. Music ducking, same thing. That would be for DJs. So those are features that are nice, but not for my purposes. I forgot to mention something on the setup of the gain structure. That's very, very important. As I mentioned, or you might have seen my comments in the Mark II videos I made, I was kind of struggling setting this up. I was getting clipping at a volume that was too low compared to other speakers. And I went back and forth with JBL Tech, and their suggestion was to put your source, which in my case is my cell phone or tablet, at 95% or one click down. And I did everything like they told me to do, and I was still getting clipping at less than 100 dB. So just yesterday, I tried doing 2 clicks down. I don't know exactly what percentage that is. Let's say it's 90% instead of 95. And that seemed to solve a lot of the problems. I did not get the red light. I was able to boost up the volume higher. So again, that might be the missing link that I've been struggling with. So my cell phone or tablet is minus 2 clicks down. The master on the Eon 1 Mark II is minus 5. My Bluetooth channel is at 0 dB. And it seemed like that really, I was able to get the volume I've been looking for. So I didn't want to forget that. Talking about setup, a little tip. You definitely want to boot up the Mackie first. So get the Mackie on Bluetooth, get your app booted up, make sure that's working, and then from there, go to the JBL Mark II and click on your phone or tablet. That should be your source. That's a little trick because it looks like the Mackie doesn't want to boot up if I boot up the JBL first. It gets confused with which Bluetooth device, and the app doesn't boot up either. Okay, I'm going to do the sound test in a part 2 because this video is getting long, and I know a lot of YouTubers don't have the patience to watch a 20-minute video, so they'd rather see videos broken up. I don't want them to skip the important part, which is the sound test. Anyway, wrapping this up. I did try this same setup with a new JBL Party Box 110. And that sounded very hi-fi, very lush mids, added some bass, but not really much bass because the Mark II already has a bass. But that system didn't work. That's not one of my recommended choices, even if you have it, because if you push the volume, the JBL Party Box 110 can't keep up with the Mark II, sorry. So that's not a choice in my book. Unless you're playing at low living room volumes, then again, adding a speaker to the right just fills in and it gives the illusion of a stereo, even though both speakers are playing in mono. So I always prefer adding a second speaker, no matter how small. Okay, summing it up. This is really an incredible system. I'm very excited about this. And as I mentioned in the beginning, I've been trying many, many different combinations. And I think I'm coming to the end of the road, really. This is really everything I've been looking for. I don't need a mixer. I have one cable, one speaker stand, The Mark II is fairly light. It's nothing like a subwoofer, which is, 45 pounds. It's nothing like that. It's lighter. And the Mackie is very inexpensive at $400. And the key is it keeps up with the $1,200 Mark II as far as volume. It has plenty of headroom. No matter how high I bring up that Mark II, I can still make the Mackie shine louder. And it cuts through. When I hit the mute, when the Mackie disappears, you hear the very, like I said, the Mark II has these lush mids and a nice low end, but some of that top end is missing once you disengage the Mackie. You click on the Mackie again, you unmute it, and all of a sudden you have this incredible high ends that are missing, and you have volume, all the volume you need. I haven't played this system outside yet. That's one of my future videos, but I am positive the way it's playing in the home here, it's going to be loud and clear. Okay, highly recommend this system. Can't recommend it enough. Hope you enjoyed. Until the next video, this is Bill.